looks so lovely today. Okay. I'm Danielle, and I'm a fear slayer.
Fear slayer.
When I first, I'm a fear slayer. When I first came to this church, I was pretty much consumed by fear. Small, normal fears of things like, am I going to make it to work in the morning? Or, oh my God, am I going to get stuck in the elevator with this guy with really stinky garlic breath? I was a chronic worrier, and phrases like, what if and I can't were normal in my daily dialogues. I also entertained much larger, irrational fears of things almost certain to never happen. As a person that has spent over 36 years chronically worrying of what people think and of a fear of judgment, I'm going to be really open and honest with you guys. And this is a way for me to lean into my fears, as well as an exercise in practicing vulnerability. In 2007, I quit a 12-year history of using various substances, and that's when my irrational fears really started to skyrocket. I started developing fears of things that would never happen, like hurting someone in my sleep unknowingly, or eating at a buffet that's been laced with acid. Now I know to some of us that probably sounds like it might be pretty fun. And at one point in my life, I would have thought so too. But as I've come to learn through the years of self-discovery and growth, this was really deep-rooted in a fear of losing control. I once chose to lose control over the pain that I had from years of abuse and trauma through drugs and alcohol. And then when that was no longer an option because my mental health started to really decline, I had to quit using, and I chose fear to cover the pain. I eventually became addicted to fear. I had a fear habit. I had this notion that if I imagined every possible negative scenario, that I would be fully prepared for disaster. And if I was prepared, then I was in control. This was an illusion of control. I had no control over the abuse and trauma that I experienced, or as a child or an adult. Fear was the habit. The more I allowed fear to live within, the more the idea of a loss of control, as big as literally a trip to a hallucinogen-filled salad bar, that became totally terrifying to me. This type of distorted thinking often consumed my thoughts and mood, and most definitely kept me away from a sense of serenity. I functioned. For those 12 years, in the past 12 years, I was definitely functioning. I continued to live life and do what I thought was making the best of life. I found, married, had a child with a beer slayer, an active alcoholic, and we had a beautiful girl. And after my divorce, I really wanted to make a better life for her, so I went back to school, got a career, and really had fun. On the outside, I was a happy, organized, fun, loving person, but on the inside, I was full of fear, and I really had a lack of self-love. This past November is when I found this amazing church, and I consider this to be one of the most important things that I've done in my life, and definitely for my recovery. I had just finished a 14-day detox from caffeine. I was in the middle of a 1-year custody battle, and my fears and anxieties were just running rampant. I walked through these doors with a heavy heart and had an anxiety that I hadn't felt since 12 years prior, when I had just decided to quit using because I couldn't do it anymore. At the point when I came in here, I had been in Al-Anon recovery for about a year, and something had told me that I needed to come to this church and see what I could find. Coming here has changed my life beyond anything that I could ever explain. Attending the services has filled me with tears of joy and sadness, grief, and hope. And those tears and emotions, as well as the fellowship, the sermons from Martha and Bob and Josh, and the pure kindness of all of you that I found here, has led me to something that I've never had before, and that something is faith. I've discovered a serious relationship with my higher power in these last 9 months. I've also discovered a deep love for myself, within myself, and I can honestly say that I've become a real, true fear slayer. I've learned to surrender and have full faith in God. And as a person who's a doer, and I like to do and fix everything, having faith feels like I'm doing nothing. It feels like complete inaction, the very opposite of doing and fixing. I'm finding that the more I give things over to God, the more nothing that I have to do. And the more nothing that I do, the more something that God does for me. And that something is solutions, action, love, and serenity. I've come to the realization that I can't conquer these fears on my own, and I've made the decision to accept my higher power's help. The fear habit has and will continue to pop up for me, but I no longer give it power. And when those thoughts come up, I gently swat them away like flies, because faith is my bug spray. And it keeps these things at bay for me. I'm also finding that the more faith I have in God to take care of me, the more faith I have in me to take care of me. And the more beautiful life is. I regularly find myself filled with immense gratitude, to the point of tears. Even when things aren't going well, I slay it with gratitude. My finances are improving, my relationships are blossoming. My relationship with my daughter is really growing. I'm in a relationship with somebody that has an amazing recovery. And I regularly volunteer, and I have passion projects. I'm facing and overcoming my addiction to fear. And I fully believe and have faith that amazing things are happening to me now, and they will continue to happen to me in the future. And it's not always going to be amazingly wonderful or perfectly amazing, but because of faith, my program, my network, the church, and being able to come here and see all of you each week, I know that I have a home, I know that I will always be okay, and that I will almost always be totally awesome.